Yeah, there we go.
Is that it?
You did it.
Woo!
Woohoo!
My
Heck
my
yeah.
phone is cracked right there, so I couldn't see the little audio button.
Oh, how convenient.
Yeah.
What's up? You on the farm right now?
I am
That's what's up.
outside.
It looks like an
Every
adventure out there.
yeah, everything's a death trap.
Heck yeah. That's pretty metal. Even Sierra.
I keep it, but it is spooky sometimes.
Did you do that global meditation thing last night?
Did and
How
I
was
did
it?
it on us.
What was it like? Did you like it?
It was pretty cool. I mean, like I I lost track of time, so I feel like I wasn't like deep in my meditation until a little bit later. But it was cool. Yeah, Jake and I like built these little hot tub thingies in
Oh
the
yeah.
backyard here. So they're like bathtubs over a fire pit. So we were laying in there crying on
It's like you're
it.
you're you're boiling yourself.
Yeah, as a human stew, like a witch.
Sounds like a tasty stew. How did that work? Was it pretty good?
um, yeah. I mean, like we need to streamline it a little bit because at one point mine started losing water. I don't
Oh,
know if it was raining or if it was like just really fucking hot. But of course, the fire's still going underneath. So as it's losing water, that water is getting even hotter.
yeah.
And like the frog in a pot deal, where I was like, "This is getting kind of hot," and then I was like, "Is this hurting or like is it getting hotter? Or am I just
Wow.
like I just extra sensitive to sensations right now?" But no, it was totally getting hotter. I had to get out, add more water.
Oh dang. Too hot for
Yeah.
Sierra. But that's cool. So you
Oh, what was
meditated
that?
in a hot tub
Outside.
outside. I dig it. Hey, thanks for
Did you admit?
no, I didn't meditate at that time. I did this morning though.
Oh, good.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Did you feel like connected with the world? It was like a global meditation, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like maybe after a while I did, but kind of just in the sense of like any other like really deep meditation I get into where it's like you just kind of like tap into that like oneness and everythingness.
Heck yeah.
So it was
Going deep.
yeah, it wasn't like particularly special, I guess. But it is too. It wasn't just like that different.
I dig it. Hey, so you've been like tattooing a lot lately.
Trying to. Not
No,
enough.
but what's been your favorite tattoo that you've done so far?
Certain things are my favorites about different tattoos. So like um I did one on my friend Ray that was my design. So
Yeah.
really fun because it was like something spooky and weird that I drew up and she just wanted to support me. But I wasn't because I'm super new, so obviously I'm not like that great or anything yet. Um so I wasn't super pleased with like technically how it came out. Like I see my mistakes and I want to improve. Um I did a little scorpion on my friend Leanna that I think came out really well. So that one's my favorite in terms of like how I executed it.
Yeah.
And then I just did a little galaxy on Jake's hand that is like kind of my new favorite just because I think the placement is really nice.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like,
I saw that. I saw the picture of that one. That was pretty sick.
yeah, looks cute, like right on the little thumb. I think it fits well.
That little galaxy swirl.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I want you to tattoo me, but I don't know what I want to get. Like I definitely want something that you've designed. Do you have any ideas?
So I'm working on a couple like flash sheets right now. I
Oh,
have kind of like sketched out all janky in my sketchbook. So it's just about putting it on a sheet all nice for the
okay.
world to see now.
Yeah.
Um,
I want a
so
tattoo,
I'm
but not a
making,
janky one.
yeah. um, so I have, cause like my initial flash sheets have been kind of like simple and like pretty standard, like not unique designs, just to kind of like start doing stuff and get practice in. Um, and have something like fairly simple to work on. And now I'm kind of working on things that are a little bit more like, I guess, me.
Yeah.
I have one sheet that's going to be kind of like spiritual and like, I don't know, I guess like kind of like Hindu Buddhist inspired
Heck
imagery.
yeah, that's what's up. I think I might want
Um,
one of those.
yeah, I hope it comes out pretty good. And then I have another one I want to make that is going to be more of like my little characters and stuff, like my more little spooky designs.
Yeah,
And I think that's kind of more what I am wanting to do more of,
cool.
but to get better so I feel like I'm doing them justice.
Oh yeah, I feel you. Like doing them justice. Like you have a certain like a vision for it that you know like your potential and the way that it can come out.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying not to like beat myself up over it too much yet, or, ever, because I know that that's part of the process.
Yeah, that's a really like powerful perspective, understanding that it's all part of the process. By the way, I
Yeah.
like how you put the exclamation next to your name. Sierra.
I like to do that whenever I need to put my name somewhere so that people know I'm emphatic
Heck
about
yeah.
life.
Sierra the emphatic. What do you yeah, what do you want to talk about?
Ooh. Um, Lots of things.
All right, let's
Okay,
do it.
I have something.
What's something?
I was thinking last night about something that sounds super like cheesy, and
Okay.
I think it would be like a pretty cool like sci-fi concept.
All right, you got a cheesy
But I
sci-fi concept for me?
Yeah, but I also think it's like very real and it pertains to everything. And I was just kind of like, I don't know, like I think this I guess idea or concept can like manifest in different ways. But I was just thinking of it in terms of like, I don't know. Okay, I'll just go.
Go.
So I'm thinking of the idea of humans creating this machine. Like maybe it's like a little metal capsule or box or something, and you can stick someone in it and um, like put them through the experience of just like the most pure and extreme sensation. And
Wow.
you can do that with like, so like you can throw anyone off the street in there and force them to experience the feeling of like, say, being burned alive
Yeah.
or drowning or extreme love, like extreme fear, just any feeling like that to its most like pure, like unabashed, I guess,
Are they
maybe
all
since
are they all like pain, or are there like other ones like pleasant? I don't know, like the pure sensation of like a hot tub, or like I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I mean, I think it would be like, I'm just thinking like sensations, like whether that's physical or mental or emotional.
Oh,
So like love and fear and happiness and sorrow.
Yeah.
But I kind of also like the physical because I was thinking,
Wait, can you say that again? You cut out for a little bit.
um
You're saying like
I
love
was
and
saying,
fear and
yeah, like you can feel emotions in this contraption, but
Mhm.
you can also experience, I think the physical ones are necessary because you know, it's like, I don't know, a sensation of feeling that we all just like experience these things and feel them. But I think like if you were to force someone to feel it in a way that was like really extreme and really pure, like how quickly would that change people's perception and empathy? And
wow, yeah.
you, like, I think if you say put someone in there and force them to feel like pure love or pure, let's say, pain, like if someone was being burned alive or chopped up or whatever, um
Or burned alive and chopped up.
sure, but I don't know, I'm just thinking like the pain would kind of force you to like be yanked out of yourself and kind of force that person to um I guess analyze what they're experiencing. Like,
Mm.
does it have to be? I think, of course, it's going to start as like, oh, this is a pain. Doesn't feel good. I don't like it. But does it stop there? Like, does it have to just be this external thing that's being inflicted on me? And like, where does
Wow.
this start and where do I start? And like, are those two, do those two things have to be disconnected? Or, you know, is there a way that you can just kind of like, again, back to like meditation or, you know, the self or the ego or whatever you want to call it, like, is it just like if there's another way that you can experience this thing and look at it from, you know, maybe like it's not a pain that's like this thing and me and I'm victim to it and it is like the oppressor, like, you know, maybe if you kind of are in that experience and state for a certain amount of time, and I'm sure it would vary from person to person, but I think, you know, it would kind of like force you to look at it from another angle and I guess just I don't know, like I don't know. I guess just come out of it with a different like experience, or I don't know.
How
I
did you come up with this concept, with this idea?
was in the hot tub.
I knew it. Sierra's hot tub ideas, the cheesy sci-fi edition. That's what's up.
And I mean, I think it would be like a cool sci-fi concept because I think like obviously that would be something that if it was like a power that someone had, there's always going to be someone out here there who wants to like take advantage of it, and I think that could be like a cool premise.
Yeah,
But
like a
I also,
story arc.
yeah, but I think like just the idea of being able to like force people to experience something different and like so extreme and maybe that we wouldn't just like normally go through in our average everyday life, and then just kind of like throw you back into the world, like, is that
Let me ask you this: would we be able to force someone to feel what their enemies feel? like feel like the justifications of one's enemy?
So I think like the way that I'm thinking of it is like
Yeah.
maybe not necessarily put not necessarily put someone in another person's state of mind, but I think like if you make someone, like if you feel extreme just like pure, let's say, hatred or anger or fear or pain, then like of course you're gonna start feeling more empathetic towards others and kind of
Oh,
be
okay.
able to step outside your perspective and maybe realize, just where people are coming from and the ways that we act and react, and
Yeah.
I
So
guess kind
yeah.
of reflect how we are able to perceive that. And I don't know, I think there are like a lot of aspects of it because I think it would change, like, just your mindset in a lot of different ways.
So you think by experiencing like a pure sensation, it'll increase your empathy and like your empathy towards others?
I think so. I would like to,
Heck yeah. That's pretty cool.
but yeah, I was totally like in the hot tub, starting to feel like hotter and hotter, and just kind of like focusing on that sensation and like trying not to, I guess, experience it as like myself, like something
Mm.
that can be harmed
Wow.
or hurt way.
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, oh, maybe this is like similar to the experience of like being on fire or being boiled alive or whatever it was. And I was trying to just like focus on what it felt like without just like focusing on the potential pain or the fear of like, oh, is this hurting me right now? Like, am I gonna be okay?
Yeah, you kind of like embraced the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's part of it too, is
Mm.
it kind of, I think, would force you to just like be there and experience it. And, there's no way out besides figuring out how you're going to, I guess, perceive that, convey that, because I think we do have, kind of a choice of how we, I guess, take in our experiences.
Yeah. Like the way we process it.
Yeah. Like Ram Dass says that the
What's he
only thing
say?
we ever offer, the only thing we ever have to offer is our own state of being.
Mm.
So I try and remember that and think of like, yeah, I don't know, just apply that in my life. And
Yeah, I appreciate your state of being right now.
thank you. I appreciate yours.
Thanks. Yeah, we gotta. It's like I don't know, like when you meet like someone that like you resonate with, it like generates that kind of state. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you're like one of the beings, one of the humans that I feel that with.
Thank you. I feel that too.
Yeah. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be on this podcast.
Oh, where would I be?
Still in the hot tub, maybe. I don't know. In your cheesy machine.
Yeah, probably. Like being in the hot tub boiling, but being real sad about it.
The sad kind of boiling, not the happy kind.
Taking it.
Do you have any other sci-fi concepts?
Probably.
So this what you were talking about before, you said you wanted it to be like a movie or like a book or what?
I don't know. I was just thinking of it as like a plot.
Yeah.
I
Or
feel like
yeah.
there are avenues that can come off of that. I like the idea of it being a book, but I think like movies are just something that are more accessible and more of like an immediate I don't know, just message to.
Right. You can get through a movie probably faster than a book.
Yeah, and it, of course, like depending on how it's done and everything, like get that interest and like
Yeah, I feel like definitely like movies are just so like they're a sensory like experience themselves because there's like the visuals and then there's the sound and there's also like the story that's going on. So as opposed to like when you're reading a book, like that all kind of goes on in your mind. But like with a movie, it just kind of like hits you like that machine you're talking about. Like regardless of like you don't know what's gonna happen in the movie if you haven't watched it yet. So I don't know, you could be experienced like all this like action or all this like pain or whatever. And then that's cool. Yeah, like it's definitely like a different impact in a movie. So would you like or is this like a scene that you could draw somehow?
Ooh, yeah, I'm sure I could, but I think it would, like if I drew it, it would probably come out way different than like the concept is in my head. Because I think if I were trying to convey that on paper, it would be like more abstract probably and not really like this machine, like this big metal like capsule that I'm seeing in my head that you know has like wires and buttons and stuff.
More abstract. I feel like it's always like really cool to me when like science fiction gets like blended with the like an abstract like the mystical like you know what I mean like magic and science somehow blends together.
Yeah, I've always been like pretty partial to fantasy and stuff like that in like books and movies, entertainment.
Oh yeah, you'd made a Harry Potter rap.
I made a Harry Potter rap.
Yeah, didn't you?
Oh yeah. No, I made. Okay, so it's like a couple things that I think are merging in your.
Okay. Yeah.
When I was in high school, there were 2 occasions where, in one of them, I performed a rap with my friend Becca. That I think was about like science. Like we had some sort of science concept that we had to like portray, and we got extra credit if we performed it. So we made a rap. And then I, in another class, I had to like create a debate with a partner and make an effort to use like fallacies and stuff. Like just start attacking each other instead of using logic.
Heck yeah.
And it was about whether Harry Potter or Star Wars was better.
Whoa.
So me and my friend, we dressed up like, you know, our respective characters. Of course, my robe and my wand and stuff.
I didn't know you dressed up, or I forgot. That's funny.
Yeah. She had a lightsaber. It was good.
That SPHP gang.
Hell yeah. Sniff it.
What kind of music have you been listening to lately?
Ooh. I've been listening to I guess like a lot of different stuff. I'm trying to think of what's new, but I've definitely been listening to like a lot of like beats and kind of like weird electronic stuff.
Yeah.
I have a playlist I'll send you.
All right. What's it called?
It's called Drugs.
Okay.
and it's simultaneous. Like the idea was like songs that make me feel like I'm on drugs, but I think
Oh.
it's listened to on drugs.
The way you said that was funny.
And
All
then
right.
I've been listening to like I've really been liking Erica Badu lately.
Heck yeah.
And what else?
Yeah, Erica, like she got like that voice, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that magic, like that energy.
Yeah. It's a
Like I just
beautiful
want
blend.
her,
You wanna what?
want to hug
Oh, same.
her.
I wanna hug her voice.
Yeah, that too.
What artists are on the drugs playlist?
Um, one of my favorites on there is Clams Casino.
Clams Casino, what
And
a name.
yeah, he makes like kind of trippy, like atmospheric beats. There's a couple Crystal Castle songs. There's some Aphex Twin.
Oh, cool.
So there's one song which I haven't really delved too deep into this artist yet, but there's a song in particular that I really like by this artist called Yeti, and it's Yheti.
Okay.
That one like hits me pretty good.
Yeah, where does it hit you?
um, just like I don't know, like it makes me want to like, like move
Yeah.
and groove and just
Move and groove.
like.
Awesome. So Yeti's the move and groove one.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them are.
Yeah. Do you believe in like Yeti, like the abominable snowman?
Um, I don't know. I don't want to disregard it for sure. But I guess I haven't like read too much convincing evidence about Yeti, but I feel like I like the idea of Yeti existing over Bigfoot. Which I know that's kind of silly because they're like essentially the same thing. It's just that one's like forest dude and one's snow dude. But I think like the idea of a Yeti existing in like this extreme snow and stuff on mountains where people aren't really like hanging out too often.
Like in solitude.
Yeah, it's like a cool, spooky, mysterious idea. I feel like Bigfoot has lost some of its intrigue because of all the, like faux sightings and videos and stuff. Like it's become kind of like gimmicky, but I'd be stoked if either one of them were proven to be existent.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I remember like I watched a funny movie about Sasquatch, and it it inspired a hip hop lyric. Like I saw a Snapchat, like one of my friends like smoking a blunt like a backwoods, and I'm like, that looks like a Sasquatch finger.
Ew.
Yeah.
I think you've told me this one. What's the line?
Oh, I can't remember.
Is it something about like picking your nose?
I don't know. You're picking your nose.
Maybe that's just what's in my brain.
Yeah, like you've
dropped me. You.
Oh, okay. Thanks for catching me.
Yeah, of course I got you.
Hey, I want to like. So have you astral traveled before?
No, but no. I was experiencing something like pretty trippy last night, but it wasn't like that. It was just like something different.
Yeah. Have you ever had like you never had an out of body experience like in general?
Have you?
I think I dreamt one time. I remember like I like started floating and I floated out of my window and then I like just was flying like up my street, like in the cul-de-sac. So, but at the same time, like I don't know if that was just like a dream or if it really was like, because I was like, I knew I was like the one flying, but it didn't. I wasn't like, oh, like I'm like astral traveling right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't aware that I was out of my body at the time. I just knew that I was flying.
But that could still be it.
It could be.
It could have just been like, like a not conscious thing, like it just happened and you're just kind of like taking it in. Did you observe the next day and see if it was like what you saw?
Did I observe my what?
Your neighborhood or your street?
Oh, it wasn't like, if I remember correctly, it wasn't like exactly the same. Like it just looked different from my dream perspective. Like I know what it looks like in this reality, like in our wake reality, but in like the dream or whatever this experience was, like the houses were like not totally the same. Maybe it could have been like I was in that place, but in a different timeline or like a different dimension.
Ooh.
Like if certain events weren't exactly the way they happened in this one.
Or maybe like you crossed into another Omar's path, like another timeline.
Maybe.
And you like traveling through his neighborhood and then came back to yours. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. Maybe there's a bunch of us.
Probably.
Something trippy my friend Aaron says. He says some infinities are larger than others.
I heard that one.
Yeah. Blew my mind the first time I heard it. What else do you want to talk about?
What are you working on right now?
Dude, I've been like hustling on this podcast thing, like filming and editing and stuff. And then I'm like making videos, like training videos for money. Like that's my like line of work. And I have like all of this also is like giving me experiences that are going to turn into like other things as far as like music creation. Like I feel it, like this is all the stuff that is like premeditated for the future, if that makes sense. So heck yeah, like I'm like just absorbing a lot of knowledge right now, like reading, listening to like thinkers that challenge me, and it's been like that lately, a lot of like self-development. And like I have like a lot of like unfinished music as far as like hip hop that I need to revisit and just like upload online. So that's what I've been working on lately.
Cool. Do you feel comfortable releasing that music, or is it just kind of like it's been there, so you might as well do something with it?
Oh yeah, it's like like I knew that when I look at what I've created, it's like the experience that I have now in this Omar like knows what that track needed, if that makes sense. Like what I didn't know then, it's like that's a gift for this one.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. Like I did it intentionally. Like I knew that just gathering a lot of ideas, it'll culminate into something great later on. Kind of like just like journaling too. Like when you journal, like you keep a bunch of them, and then like all of a sudden, like the idea from this one like completes the idea from this one, or like, oh, like these two, like that's really interesting, or like put together, or like things like that. Like that's one of my systems, is just like creating and letting it like float out of me, and then like preserving it somehow, or like organizing it. And then because I know that later on that's like a seed that's been planted, and then like now that I have whatever this is, a way to like gather the fruit, then I turn it into like a fruit smoothie.
Cool. Do you feel like sometimes it becomes like a different fruit smoothie than you were anticipating, or is it like,
oh yeah,
an ingredient that made it like the perfect fruit smoothie that you were looking for?
Oh, both of them. It's like I'm very open to like the final taste of it. I'm very open to like the final like texture and like consistency. Like I know the vision that I have of whatever it is. It's like I know that it's gonna be like freaking amazing, and I just kind of have to like wait until these other ones ripen before it gets to that. And like it's not like I'm attached to a particular like kind of vision to it, but I just know that there's like a certain, it's not like broad, but I know like the I don't know, like the feeling that it's gonna like make me feel. And then
Yeah.
oftentimes like that feeling may be like mixed in with whatever it is in the end.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Good.
Good. I want to hear about your creative process though. Like do you like I know you like carry like a sketchbook around and stuff. Is that where like you grow your ideas?
Yes. I don't know. I feel like I don't know if I have a process or maybe it's just like chaos, but
Yeah. That's really
tend to
important.
like my I guess like I've experienced both of those for sure, but my process is more like it my I'm the same way, like I'm not really attached to an idea of how I want something to like come into fruition unless for whatever reason it's like a very specific idea that I want. But for the most part, like most of my sketches and stuff that I start end up way different than I think they're gonna be. Um, and part of that is that I'm like really good about like starting something and then just leaving it forever and then coming back to it and oh,
Yeah.
you know what I saw
What?
yesterday or like the day before?
What's
Um,
that?
it Snapchat memories. I
Yeah.
I had a video of one of the times when you called me and it just was like these trippy ass sounds like that. Do you remember that?
That was scary.
And it happened more than once. And that happened like almost exactly a year ago or whatever it was.
Dang, we gotta tell the people about this. So I one time like I was calling her or we were like on the line and it was just like or like I don't know actually you have the recording of it. What did it sound like?
No, that was perfect. It was like these like scratchy, glitchy sounds, but then there were moments of it where it sounded like a spooky, kind of distant, like fast talking, like
Yeah.
that you couldn't quite make out. It was, yeah, it was trippy. And it's only ever happened when Omar was calling me like 3 times. And I've like
Dang.
never experienced that anywhere else.
Yeah, that was like it was like unsettling.
Yeah,
Like
because it,
what were we hearing?
yeah, I don't know.
It could be like we're getting some kind of like radio frequencies that are being sped up when like we receive them, or like are we like listening to ghost conversations?
Ooh, like a ghost box.
A ghost box.
Yeah.
What's that?
Are you those?
It's a ghost box.
Oh, what is it? It's like they're kind of silly. Like it might be bullshit. Well, but it's like this little contraption that basically just like runs through stations, like radio stations and stuff. And supposedly you can communicate with like spirits or whatever through it by like asking it your question or whatever, and then it'll like channel through um, radio stations and like stop on words that are being said. So you'll get like maybe someone from a talk show being like hello or whatever, and then like something in a song saying like and it's supposed
Yeah.
to form either like sentences or concepts that communicate like what the ghost is responding to you with.
That's like an oral ghost mosaic.
Yeah. But like I don't know. I mean, it could also just be that it's like running through stations and stopping at random,
Sure.
and then kind of on us to like piece together what we think that means.
So, but the idea is like it's a ghost trying to like communicate using other human words, right?
Yeah,
Dang, I don't know how I
yeah,
feel
like
about that. Because like I don't know, that also sounds like hip hop. Like that's how you like you make like samples, like when you get like two different things and like put them together and it makes like this new thing.
whoa, what if you used like ghost box stuff in a song?
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Because I enjoy like just like that uneasiness, and I like blending that into like artwork, or like when it's blended into artwork.
Yeah,
I
and
don't know,
like
like I don't want to give the song like bad vibes, but I want to give it like oh like I don't this is like a supernatural kind of vibe. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, like kind of spooky, like
Like yeah,
negative.
yeah, it's like neutral or positive, or
Yeah,
maybe like negative. I don't know, like whatever the track needs, I guess.
whatever atmosphere it needs.
Yeah.
It's starting to sprinkle out here.
you you sounded like super happy about it.
I am, but I'm probably gonna need to go inside soon because it's gonna get chilly willy.
Oh, all right, you can do your thing. Do you want to keep talking, or you want to take me inside?
Yeah, I'll take you inside.
All right.
Ready?
Yeah, whenever you want. That's a cool spot though. I enjoy how much like how much green is around you.
Yeah, me too. I'm super grateful to be
Yeah.
out here.
Super Saiyan grateful.
Yeah, like kind of trippy too because it's like really like comforting and isolated and naturey, which I think is something I've been like energy I've been putting into the world.
Yeah, wow, okay.
But it's also like just an adjustment because it's also like it gets super real out here. So you need to
What do you mean super real?
like the other day I went outside and within 5 minutes of being outside I got into stinging nettle and I found a rattlesnake.
Oh,
Like
dang.
like it could have got me.
Yeah, what'd you do?
Huh?
What'd you do?
Um well first I looked down and it was like less than a foot away from my legs.
Yeah.
And I didn't see it moving. I didn't hear it. I just looked down and happened to see it. And it was trippy too because I was like walking around watching this hawk in the air.
Yeah.
And for some reason, like the hawk seemed very significant because I was like watching this hawk in the air, kind of like following it, like walking towards it. And then all of a sudden I looked down to see where I was stepping and there was a snake right there.
Oh, dang.
And it was like in tall grass, and there just happened to be like a camper top on the ground next to me. So, excuse me. We're back.
All right, we're back. We're good. We're ready to go. What
Grateful
are you grateful for?
that we're back.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm grateful. I'm changing the name of the podcast to the Grateful Podcast.
Ooh, I like
Yeah, your name was a top contender though, the Gratefulest.
that. Thank you. I feel honored.
Heck yeah. Is there any way you could get more light on your face?
Let's see what this does.
Yeah, that's way better. You look great. Thanks.
Thank you. You look great.
I feel great. I feel grateful. Great and grateful. What else are you grateful for? This is a power pose. This is like this releases like certain kinds of endorphins that yeah.
Good. I'm
Ah.
under, especially like I don't know after I've stretched or eaten something real good.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like,
Eating something real good.
yeah, like yesterday I made vegan mac and cheese. It was
Wait, what'd you make?
vegan mac and cheese.
Oh, vegan mac and cheese.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Vegan mac and cheese. What was how do you make vegan cheese?
So I made like a nut cheese.
Hmm.
So I use like cashew nutritional yeast and stuff.
Cool. Nut cheese is a funny word.
And that's me.
Oh, I didn't hear you. That was glitchy.
I said, you know which one really gets me is nut butter.
Oh, nut butter. Put some of that on your toast.
I do.
uh, so I have a question for you.
Okay.
What is art to you? Like what do you get out of doing art?
Okay. So art. That's a big one. um. So it's with like, which is still like kind of tough and like abstract to think about and try and articulate. Um. But it's just always been like very satisfying and comforting to me. Um. To like, I don't know, like as a kid, I just it was something I always really enjoyed, and I was just always drawing on like my tests and stuff. And my teachers would be like, "Yeah, you can't draw on your test." Early, like I can just draw a little picture on the back. Um, and I don't know, like I guess yeah, it always like felt good to do. It was just kind of like always something that was there that I was doing and excited about and liked doing and learning more about and seeing, and I guess just having this thing that like it kind of like evolved over time. I think when I started getting a little bit older and like wanting to kind of like um narrow in on my art and doing like art um it was something that was like it was still like really comforting to do, but it started to become something that was more expressive and more like a way for me to kind of, I guess, manifest my feelings. Um, because I feel like I've always been a very like kind of broad, like abstract feeler. Um, and I always had kind of a tough time like putting that into words. Um, so it was a way for me to, I don't know, I guess just like draw it out. And then I think the next step after that was it started to kind of become like something that I wanted to pursue a little bit and started trying to like discipline myself a little bit more. And that became kind of like tough because that's not what it started out being. And, it's hard to like take something that you've just always done and try and like fit it into this I don't know, I don't want to say like uh I don't know, like, it's not about like making money, but I started going to events and trying to like whatever, just set up and I guess sell stuff, but like I still like in the beginning had a really hard time like parting ways with my art and
Oh wow.
um also like even
Parting ways
just
with your
social,
art.
yeah. So it was kind of like it's fun, like that one was special. It's what it was, and I'm not gonna like try and recreate it to keep it like that was the baby that I created and like let loose into the universe.
Yeah.
um, and I don't know, like it started to. I guess I was like in the last year or two, um, just like making the effort to keep it as like preserve it as something that I enjoyed and not something that I had to do because I felt like I had to have new stuff to show at events and you know have available and whatever. Um, and of course, there are like ways of doing that without feeling like it's this like overbearing thing that I have to do and make and get done and have available. Um, but I've also just kind of like stopped tripping about that. Like, I don't really care too much about like making new stuff every so often on a schedule because that's just not really the way that I have created. And I don't think it's like beneficial to me to stress about it. um,
Like you give yourself the permission to create the way that's best for you.
yeah, or I mean, at the very least, like what comes naturally.
Mm.
Because I think, of course, like with anything, if you want to grow, you have to work at it. And
Yeah.
I guess I still want to make that effort and work and grow and learn. Um, I'm just kind of like doing it in a little bit of a different way right now. And then especially like, we can't go out or anything, so I can't even go to events and have my artwork and socialize with other artists and stuff. So yeah.
That was cool. Yeah, that's the like this is like the season that we're in, and it's like producing a unique type of work with like our own artistic tendencies.
Yeah, it's kind of cool because it can be, I don't know, like I don't want to say draining because I can like reprogram my brain to not feel drained, but it is just like a lot of stimulus to be trying to go to events and stuff like every week and be around tons of people in a small space.
Yeah.
Just, drinking and having all of these like conversations and it's just like a lot. So I'm actually kind of like stoked to take a little break from being a part of the world.
Heck yeah. Yeah, same, definitely. Like I'm naturally like a homebody. Like I just like really enjoy like being at home. So this is pretty awesome. It's like just all the creative outlets are opening up. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I have a question though. How do you reprogram your mind or your brain?
um so I think it starts with just being like self-aware
Hmm.
um, of one, like what we feel and I guess the ways that we're interpreting that and thinking about it. um, and I guess just from there being aware that that's not the only way to interpret something or look at something.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, like the being social or whatever. Like I'm trying to get out of this thing of dwelling on like I don't know, whatever, maybe negative thoughts, but even just like, not where I want myself to be. Like, if I feel like I'm tired or exhausted or whatever, I try not to, like, even just saying the words, like, this is exhausting. I'm trying to just be like, no, it's not. Like, don't say that. Don't think
Yeah.
about that.
Good job. Yeah,
Um,
definitely. That's really powerful.
yeah,
When you're that's like one of the things to become self-aware, like anybody listening. Like we have all this like internal chatter that is just it's kind of like a hum, like a the hum of your refrigerator just always going on and you don't realize that even that it's there or how loud it is until like the refrigerator hum goes away for a second. And like you can actually I don't know, just like having those things like, oh, like I feel tired or whatever, or like, oh, I feel exhausted. Like it's like you can become aware of those things and then switch it into something that serves you. Like, oh, like I feel alive right now, or like, oh, I feel like pretty freaking awesome. And it's like that becomes like instead of the refrigerator hum, it becomes like I don't know something more pleasant, like a firewood crackle.
or like just a vibration that's there, and it doesn't have to be like this
Yeah.
thing that's being imposed on you.
Yeah, like a vibration. Oh, one of my favorite vibrations, by the way, is like super loud bass. Like, what's up? You saying hi?
Yeah.
Hello?
Like uh, a double bass or like
Just,
guitar.
just all bass. Like, whenever anything is just like rumbles, and like I feel it in my chest and like in my bones. It's like, oh, like that's what, you know what I mean? That's like, that's one of the reasons why I love like music so much. It's like I'm hearing it, but I'm feeling it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. I super appreciate music for that. And I think that's like part of why I've been really liking like instrumental stuff right now and like beats and stuff is
Yeah,
makes you feel some type of way.
yeah, definitely. What are your favorite vibrations besides like hip hop beats? Or we can keep talking about hip hop beats. Like, what about hip hop beats?
um, I mean, I think like I don't know, some of them are just like, cute and they make me feel good or they make me want to dance or whatever while I'm driving to them.
Heck yeah.
But lately I've been just like really liking the like kind of like atmospheric, like I don't know, again, like the kind of spooky ones that are just
Yeah.
like it, at least for me, and I think that kind of goes back to like I've always been kind of partial to like these abstract, like kind of mysterious feelings and um expressions and stuff. So it like kind of creates this, I don't know, I guess like a story in my mind or just like this environment that is different than where I am in that moment.
Mm. I like the way you put it, like abstract and mysterious. Like that's what it is. Like you don't know quite what it is. It's like a mystery, and then like you don't know like exactly like the way it works. Like it's abstract, but it's like there, and it's like that's a certain that's that some kind of way, like that certain kind of feeling.
I like it.
Same.
Like feeling like I don't know, I'm in a whole new world.
Yeah. So that's like what's appealing to you about that? Like feeling like you're in another world.
um, I don't know, it's like exciting and comforting and like kind of like I don't know, like I don't want to say like scary, but just kind of like titillating.
Yeah, like it's like the fun at the edge of danger.
Yeah. Um, and of course that's like on a low level with music versus with other experiences. But I was reading about I can't remember where, but about like people taking psychedelics and how some people like get really attached to what they're experiencing and kind of like freak out and don't want to go into this experience that they're starting to have.
Mm.
Um, some people will just like let themselves fall into it and just kind of like meld with that experience that's happening. And I feel like that's kind of always how I've been with, I don't know, just these kind of like weird ideas and concepts and expressions and art and stuff. Um, like I've just always kind of like, I don't know, just been intrigued with like the kind of weirder stuff. It feels, I don't know, just interesting.
Yeah, it's fun to get weird. Like, like I don't know about you, but when I'm making like weird music, like my body's just making like weird noises. Like outside of the context of creating, it's like what like what's going on? Like, definitely. But there's like a magic in there. You know what I mean? I think like part of that, like what's appealing about being weird, is that just because it's different, you know, it's not normal. So it's like exciting in that way. Like it breaks a certain kind of pattern.
Hmm. And I think that's like necessary to any kind of like whatever it is, growth or change is
Oh yeah.
just kind of whatever it is, comfort or routine.
Yeah, definitely. So, do you have like, what's your philosophy on life?
um, uh, I think, hmm, I think my philosophy is kind of like it's all good.
Yeah.
Very like uh just go with the flow, like whatever happens, like it's okay, it's gonna be okay, like this is the way it's supposed to be. And I don't know, I guess just being like at peace with whatever's going on and like trying to bring like harmony and love into everything that you're doing and experiencing. And that's even that is still something that I'm, you know, like reprogramming myself to feel and live by. But
Yeah.
getting there.
I like that word you chose, harmony. It's like one of my philosophies, the way that I see the world is that there's a, you know what I mean? Like there's like the ebb and the flow, like that's part of the flow. And there's like dissonance, and then there's like resolution, but it's like all part of the harmony. Like the dissonance like just like feels good as like it builds up, and then like the resolution happens, and like it's like just like this big like climax of vibrations, and it's like whoa, like, and then but then all that together, like that like resolution, that kind of harmonic thing like wouldn't be what it is without like the ugliness or like the tension that's building up. That's like, I
Yeah,
dig it. So like harmony is one of my philosophies.
I was kind of thinking of that recently. I was climbing this tree
What do you mean?
and
Climbing a tree.
I was climbing a tree and I like got up on this branch and it was kind of like I got to a place where I was like comfortable, like I could sit and chill, but like if I went out a little bit more, it could potentially get kind of like precarious. Like,
Okay, so you're at that comfort and then at the edge of danger.
yeah, and like the wind started blowing and I started feeling the tree move like as I was on it, and I could just kind of like feel, I don't know, just like the energy of it, like moving and being aware that I was like a part of that. And I guess just kind of, I don't know, I was reflecting on like how I felt comfortable and I felt like I was going to be okay. But then I was just also aware of like that possibility of like, oh, this could break, and especially if the wind starts blowing, you know, it could snap and I'll fall out, and you know, I might get hurt, like I'm a little bit high up.
Yeah, but that's what's
And
exciting about it.
yeah, like I was aware of that, but not um, like dwelling on that energy, and also just kind of being
Oh,
like,
cool.
well, like this is the way it's supposed to be. Like I'm up here, and I feel like I can be up here, like I'm comfortable here, and like this tree is okay with me being in it. But if that's what the universe wants for me, is for me to fall out of this tree, then that's okay too. That's the way it's supposed to happen.
Wow. So that's
So
like
yeah,
that's what you mean by like going with the flow.
yeah, and also I think just the harmony of like there's chaos in it too. There's
Yeah. Oh, let's talk about chaos for a little bit. I
okay.
yeah, I there was this like interesting. So you know how like there's like yin and yang, like positive and negative, and like action and then like non-action.
Yeah.
So there's when in like the process of creating, like the act of creation, there's always chaos around it. Like, and then an example of this would be like, I don't know, like I have like my desk here in front of me, like a workspace. But then like when I'm creating a song, like I'll be like, okay, I need to grab like a pencil, or I need to grab like my guitar pick, or I have like these cables here. And then like that's like the chaos that's happening in this act of like creating something. So that's called active chaos, which is the yang, like the masculine energy. And then when it there's like there can still like be chaos there, but then like afterwards, let's say like I don't like reorganize the space, then that becomes passive chaos. So that's like old yang, like it's like still like the active energy, but it's about to like turn into the yin. And I might be like butchering all this, but I just thought it was like really interesting how like the act of like creation has the chaos around it, and then like the chaos can still be like there afterwards.
Mm.
Maybe you could think about it like a messy, like I don't know, like a like when you're painting or something and you get like ink on your hands or whatever.
I'm kind of thinking of it as like even like the non-action is chaos.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll notice it in ways of like whatever it is, like whether let's say you're like ignoring the dishes, like you don't want to do the dishes, and then like that becomes chaos. Like
Yeah.
while you're like you drop something and it breaks or whatever, and like that becomes chaos. Like it's kind
Whoa.
of like. But I think also, at least for me, and I think it's kind of in all of us, we like intuitively know like what's right for us in that moment. And
Hmm.
I think like for me, I'd rather like take the action and like do the dishes and maybe like break a couple or drop a couple or whatever, rather than like not do anything and let them build up and be like, oh, this sucks. Now there's dishes everywhere. I don't have clean ones I can use. Like,
I feel you. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you what your life motto is.
My life motto, I got a bunch. I got a lot of things right here in front of me. Here, I'll show you. I got this like alien thing and it says believe on the bottom, and then right next to it it's a verse from Mark, and the verse is actually my birthday, 923. And it says, Jesus said to him,
Ooh.
if you can believe, all things are possible to him who believes. That's Mark 923. So that's one of them. It's just like the power of belief is like that's our programming. Like whatever we're programmed, whatever we're programming ourselves with, like that's what's gonna happen. Like, so it's just like keeping me open to just like these infinite possibilities, and also that like I can create whatever world I want to create. Like you know what I mean? It's just like all this perception that I have. Like that's what I'm building, and that's what I can use. And then another one is I am blessed and highly favored, and the universe conspires in my favor. These are all like affirmations. And then like as far as like philosophy and stuff, I'm pretty like go with the flow too. Like I'm just like really open. Like okay, so on the subject of like hot tubs and stuff, I was pouring hot water for my coffee, and I was so concentrated. Like I was in like this pure moment of concentration where I'm just like ready to enjoy this coffee, and I'm like really like just enjoying like the anticipation, and like I'm preparing this thing, and it's like all of a sudden like I feel like the water spills. There's like the chaos in the active chaos. Water spills like on the counter, and then I get like a little drip of hot water on my foot, and like I felt that pain, but I didn't move because I was just so concentrated on like keeping keeping the water into the coffee. And I remember like Luis was next to me, and I'm like, oh dude, I just like said it like super stone cold, like, oh, I dropped hot water on my foot, and then he's like, dang, you didn't move. Like it was such an interesting sensation to like just like accept that pain in that one instance, and then I felt it like reverberate into my foot and then dissipate into nothing.
Ooh.
Yeah,
So
I don't
it
know
was
how
like
I,
pain
it was
necessarily
like
harmful.
it was like exhilarating. I was just like it was part of that experience of preparing this coffee that I was gonna enjoy. You know what I'm saying?
And you had to like choose what you valued in that moment, and it was the
Yeah,
coffee.
hmm, definitely. And then like in the act of doing that, I was able to embrace this like very intense sensation, and like I'm here standing, like I survived the battle. You know what I'm
Nice.
saying?
More. I
What?
survived 2 drops of hot water.
We're both warriors.
Thank you. I agree.
Heck yeah. So yeah, that's one of my philosophies. Like it's just important to recognize like also that there's like sometimes like what could be perceived as negative may actually be like working for your good. Like one of the songs that we sing at church is like um you make all things work together, or you make all things work together for our good, or something like that, like along those lines. So it's just like I kind of consider it like mental and spiritual alchemy. Like everything that happens, like you have, if you put the right intention and you have like the right you have the right kinds of beliefs, like you can actually use that to empower yourself and to like get to where you want to go, or like feel the way that you want to feel. Like you can like generate your own happiness and your own like contentment, your own like fulfilling feelings. So that's another one.
Yeah, totally. I think like that is also part of, you know, uh, being aware of ourselves and reprogramming our brains is,
Yeah.
we're not just reprogramming our mindsets, but like everything around us, everything that's gonna
Yeah.
manifest.
Yeah, we have to be like super aware of just everything that we're letting into our senses, like everything that we see and everything that we hear. Like I don't know, like sometimes like letting go of like negative friends, like that's one of the things, like just because you sometimes we need to value our own like state, our own being, to and then like avoid this like negative input, or like being around like positive people, like that has an influence on you too.
Yeah, totally. I think, I don't know, something that I'm trying to be conscious of, like, is, again, like my own state of being. Like, I don't think I'm, uh, I don't know, whatever it is, like high enough yet that I can just not let anything affect me. Because I agree, like it's tough to be around so much energies and like not let them affect you. Um, but I also just try and remind myself that, like, work on ourselves is what is put out into the universe, changes everything around us. Like, all I ever have to offer is my own state of being, and like,
Wow.
if you are comfortable in whatever you need to be in that moment, it doesn't really matter if someone else is being negative or whatever it is. Like, we create just a mirror onto what this other person is, I guess.
Yeah, people are
And
mirrors.
yeah, I think like, it takes a lot of work. Like most of us aren't going to be able to do that right away or do it consistently. It's always going to take work, effort, but I've been trying to just keep that in mind.
Yeah, it's like it's a practice, definitely. And then like it's also one of those things where like the more you do it and the more like familiar you get with whatever the practice is like of the mind reprogramming, then it automatically becomes like second nature, or like it becomes second nature at one point. Kind of
Yeah.
like I don't know, like maybe like martial arts, like going over the same like drill over and over again, and then you don't have to think about it anymore. Like it's actually like in your body instead of in your mind.
Yeah, but I also think like we still need to do it, and
Yeah,
I guess just do those practices and make the effort because it is also something that can be lost. Like it's not like, all right, I've reached a checkpoint and now there's no going back. It's like, no, I still need to put in that work to make sure I don't kind of like devolve into a more susceptible state of mind.
yeah, I feel you. We gotta move with purpose.
Yeah.
what uh what else do you want to talk about?
Are you reading anything right now?
Oh heck yeah, I got my desk is full of books in front of me. Wait, hang on 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, I got a bunch of books in front of me. I got like the 48 Laws of Power right here.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then I got the Kabbalion, and then I got Finnegan's Wake. Finnegan's Wake is the one that had that funny word, like the he BBB or whatever it was.
Yeah. Maybe we'll be up.
Yeah, something like that.
You want to
So
read
yeah.
or maybe write it? So I feel like I could write it.
Like there's this is 2 lines: bags, balls. And then there's here's our dozen cousins from the starves on tripes. Starked, naked, bone stiffed, we vivid soddy. I'll be dude. It's like these are words, but they're not. When you dreamt that you'd wealth in Marble Arc, do you ever think of Pool Begslow? I
An
think
experience.
yeah. I guess like this is really good to say in like an Irish accent. Like because I think the dude was Irish. Only for me shorts, but his bed made a snoog as it smells. That gives it a little some.
I agree.
So that's Finnegan's Wake.
It's a good one.
Yeah, Terrence McKenna talked about it. Like
Ooh.
yeah, because it like you if you read it enough, it communicates things to you. Like I like there's like it's just such a trip. Like it's not the the normal way of reading. I don't know how to like, explain it. Like it's like you're receiving information from all these like it's like all intentional. Like it's like you get the story, but it's like super abstract. Like you don't know what it is, but you know what it is. Like it's does that if that makes sense. I think the way he described it is he said like the words that are chosen in the language, that the way it's crafted, it like communicates things to you like subconsciously. So it like it's like different. It's not like that kind of process where like we read a word and it means this thing. It's like this whole like this like feeling is like I don't know. It's like going inside of us. Yeah. Shouts out to my homie
Yeah.
Aaron for hooking me up with that book. He's making a
Aaron.
movie. Yeah. He's making a movie that's like inspired by these concepts of like how it's just a lot of different it's like an infinity within itself, and like it's just communicated in this little book kind of thing.
Wow.
So he wants to do that with a movie, like the human history in like 2 hours.
Cool.
Yeah, like a baby's birth, and then like an old man dying like at the same time, kind of thing. Like, and then like the whole life in between, like all at once.
Cool. Sounds spooky.
Yeah. What are you reading?
When you were telling,
Oh, what's up?
okay, I'll tell you one thing first, and then I'll tell you what I'm reading.
Okay, deal.
But when you were telling me the book, it reminded me of, I think I talked to you about it. By the River Piedra, I Sat Down and Wept by Paulo Coelho.
Oh,
And there's a part where he's talking about like these people go on this kind of like it's like a small trip, like a day retreat up this mountain for some like religious ceremony. Um, and it's the first time that this girl is experiencing it. And at first, she's like kind of tripping because everyone stands by this river and just starts like babbling. Like they just like look up into the air, and some of them are, you know, like have their eyes open and are crying, and some of them have their eyes closed and they're just like all just like babbling, like talking nonsense over each other. No one's really making words that we can assign meaning to. Um, but it's like this really strong experience, like energy. And she feels kind of like silly, but she starts trying to do it. And then it just kind of like comes naturally. And it's like this like thing is manifesting itself through her. Like this energy is just kind of like spilling out. And all of a sudden she understands. Um, and that's kind of what that book reminds me of because, you know, like we assign these meanings to words that are kind of like, honestly, it's, I don't know, like maybe not, but it's honestly kind of silly, like that we can just say something and be like, this is what this means. And all of a sudden that's what that means. Like, you know, who's to say that this is like that and this is that unless we agree on it. And, you know, when it's all kind of like to convey a feeling or a thing in the first place, like, yeah, we can talk about it and try and convey that to each other, but it's not like the thing. It's not this like object in front of me, or it's not the feeling, it's not the experience of whatever was, you know, manifesting itself through her in that moment. And I feel like that's only reinforced by a book that's kind of like nonsensical, but you understand what it's portraying to you. I think it's very interesting.
oh yeah, definitely. That's like that is like really trippy. Like, is that like talking in tongues? What they all were like
Yeah,
babbling? That's like
yeah,
a like angel speak
yeah, exactly.
thing.
That's pretty much what the idea was.
Have you ever seen an angel?
um, Probably. I'm looking at one in my phone right now.
Are you on selfie mode?
No, I mean like I'm in the dark.
I'm just kidding. Thank you.
um,
Yeah,
I don't know, probably.
what's that? Yeah, I think like they're kind of all around us, but maybe we don't have like the necessary like spectrum to see into. Like the world is like overlaid on top of it or beneath it or within it or something.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the whole like idea of like there are things in other dimensions above ours that we can't really perceive because we don't have like the capabilities in our dimension, but they can like kind of do things to our dimension that we can perceive. So like the spooky things that happen around us that we can't explain, it's maybe something, but it's not, like just in our
Like,
field of knowledge right now, I guess.
Mm.
I don't know. That's kind of like how I think about it, is like there's more up there. I just need to be like a little bit of a different plane to see it, I guess, or perceive it in a way more than just like what its actions are.
Yeah, I feel you. I wonder if like we travel into those realms when we dream. I feel like it's some kind of combination of like tapping into a different plane, and then also like that plane allows us to create a certain kind of dream around us.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a I don't know, like a scientist or whatever. Was that a hiccup?
Yeah.
You're one for the day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll probably have some more later. You just come out ones and twos.
Ones and twos, like a computer. Have you had any trippy dreams lately?
Yeah. Let me think. I had one the other night that was like, ew. This one's not trippy, but like the night before last, I had a dream that I was like cleaning this wheelbarrow poop.
Whoa! All right.
It was like poop, and I was like, this sucks. And then I woke up and I was like, cool, I don't have to clean poop.
What do you think it? What do you think it meant?
I think it was probably like subconsciously like manifesting like I just have like a lot of little critters around right now. Like, I've been like playing with snakes and lizards and stuff, and sometimes I just notice their poops, and I'm like, that's pretty gross. I gotta clean up this cage real quick.
Oh, okay. That's really comical. It's like, yeah, you wake up and you're like, oh, good, I don't have to do it.
It was bizarre though, because I've never really had a dream about something like that. But let's see, there have been a couple like in the last few weeks or so that have been kind of trippy.
Like what?
So like, okay, I'll start with a lighter one, and then I'm gonna get into like kind of a weird one.
All right, let's do it.
But I had this one dream that I had a scorpion body, but I wasn't totally aware of scorpion body at first. It was like, I was in this parking lot, and I think like me and mom were getting in her truck or something, and like this bus had just dropped off all these people nearby that started walking by us, but they were like circus freaks. Like they were all a part of this like, I don't know, like circus or carnival or something, but they were also just like malformed humans that had like real issues. And so I was like, okay, whatever, like that's interesting. And then all of a sudden one of them started like kind of fucking this, and I was like trying to get into the truck and just be like, mom, like get in, I'll
he was what?
or whatever. I don't know, this person started like fucking with us, like,
oh, okay,
like chase us around and trying to like attack us and stuff. And my mom's like not so quick on her feet, so I was like, I'm gonna take care of this person, like just get in and then I'll run or whatever.
That's right.
And my mom got in and I was like trying to run around the truck trying to figure out how to get inside. And then we kind of like squared off and did the thing where we were like circling each other. And then all of a sudden I was aware that I had a scorpion body. And I was like, I had my little pinchers and I was like, psh, psh, like trying to attack them. And I managed to get in the truck, but it was real bizarre. Like I don't think I've ever had a body
Dang.
that like wasn't, you know, a human body.
That's definitely trippy. So what part like
Really
was
sick.
when did the human start and the scorpion stop?
I was just like scorpion body, human head. Kind of like seeing things like it was like a big scorpion body because I was still kind of seeing things at like my almost normal eye level. I felt very dangerous.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sarah the Dangerous. Moko Fingers
And then
Dangerous. And then what?
did a scorpion tattoo after
Oh.
that. Not because of that, but I just like happened to a little bit later on.
Yeah. Did that seem like significant after the dream?
I not really.
Okay.
I was just kind of interesting because like I haven't really, I don't know, I guess like thought about but too much like special energy towards scorpions. And then they were kind of just like popping up here and there in my brain.
Special energy.
But yeah, I don't know. I drew that one up. I was hoping someone would want it, and then someone did.
Heck yeah. Someone got that tattooed? Wait, yeah, you said that, huh?
Yeah.
That's cool. What so what was the next dream? The weird one.
So like this one really tripped me out because Jake and I were sleeping next to each other, and then like whatever, I woke up at some point in the morning and like remembered this dream I had, kind of dozed back off, and then we both woke up, and I wasn't really like thinking about the first dream because I had like kind of another small dream after that. So I think I was just kind of like thinking about that one. And then he was like, I had a dream that all my teeth fell out. And then I just like fucking like snapped back into my dream. And I was like, I had a dream that my teeth fell out.
Oh, wow.
And so like, yeah, like right next to each other, you know, in the same night, I don't know, maybe at the same time, we had very similar dreams. Like they happened a little bit differently, but it was the same concept. And mine was trippy because it was like I started losing little bits of teeth here and there, and then I just started losing like all of them, and I was like, fuck, this sucks. Like, what am I gonna do about my teeth? Am I gonna look like this forever? And then all of a sudden, and I think like I became like semi-lucid because I was kind of like, I'm gonna look like this forever. And I was like, wait, is this real? Or is this just a dream? And like, I'm not gonna have to deal with all my teeth bullshit. And then all of a sudden they just started like snapping back into my face. Like from one side to the next, they just went like, and like all just shot back into my mouth. And then that was it. But in Jake's dream, like he did lose all his teeth. And so we were kind of like thinking about it and figuring out, first of all, what that means that we dreamt pretty much the same thing. But then we were also kind of entertaining, like, is it that he started having the dream and so instead of me losing my teeth, like I got mine back and he lost his or something? Like,
wow.
Was there kind of story there? I don't know.
Yeah.
But that one
do you know what losing teeth means?
I mean, I've read different things. Like I think I've heard most often that it's like good luck and that people think it's like an omen of you coming into like money or whatever it is. But then I've also just heard like scientifically, people want to say it's stress, or that it's like something like maybe you grind your teeth at night, so it's kind of like subconsciously in your brain turning into like a teeth stressful dream. So I don't really know, but I've heard a few different things.
Was it just kind of like what was the feeling that you had? Was it kind of like really like up like a nightmare? Like was it like very like shocking, or was it just kind of like, oh, this sucks?
It was upsetting because like at first it was like, oh shit, I lost a tooth. Like that, the initial shock was like, oh my gosh, like that, like kind of panicked and surprising. Um, because I remember like feeling my teeth wiggle, and I was like, oh no, that's not good. And then it fell out, and then I was like, oh my gosh, that's not good. And started losing more, and then I was like, what's happening? Am I gonna like look like this forever? And I remember looking at myself, and I looked like, I don't know, like a hillbilly with like my front teeth's missing and little here and there, and then just all of them fell out, and I was like, then it was like the real stress, like, oh man, this is going to cost a lot of money to have to go to the dentist.
Mm.
And I think that's when I started like reflecting, like, well, hold up just a second. Is this real, or am I actually going to have to figure out how to deal with this from here, or is it just something that's happening in my brain juices right now?
Your brain juices.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that like losing teeth is a common like nightmare to people,
Yeah.
but let's
So
just
that's what
yeah.
I was just tripped out, because I know it's like fairly common, but there wasn't really like any like reason for both of us to be thinking about teeth. So I can't really explain like why we would both have the dream at the same time.
Yeah, I think it's just like the people that you spend a lot of time with, like you guys like become in synced. Like not like the
Yeah.
band, but like you guys like the like what like synchronicities happen, you know? Like I don't know, like just
Yeah.
like how you could like think about somebody and then like they call you. Like maybe that same kind of thing where like, or I don't know, like two people like show up like wearing the same thing or like a very similar outfit. So I'm sure that it's very possible that it's just like a dream. The dream was in sync.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. Is there
I've
anything
noticed
else?
that with
Yeah.
other.
With other things?
Yeah.
Like what?
Um. I don't know. I just, they're like pretty frequently I'll be thinking about something, and then like Jake will say it, and then I'm like, I was just thinking about that. That's kind of spooky.
Yeah,
Or
that like telepathic communication.
yeah, it's just been like a lot of little things like that.
That's such a trip. Like I don't know like where it comes from, like if we can like hear their thoughts or if we just like recognize the patterns.
Maybe both.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't know. I think like everything's connected, so I don't think it's any sort of like coincidence or surprise that we start to, I guess, like vibe off of each other in that way.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
People are open.
And then also like I think like when we go into those like brain cycles when we're dreaming, I think like we receive information in a different way. So maybe just
Yeah.
like when you guys received the other's information, or like you like both received like the same thing together or something like that. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like maybe our brains were just like zap.
Maybe. The alien sending a message that got split into two. Is there anything else you wanna talk about? I wanna start wrapping this up.
Yeah, I'm down for that. Not necessarily.
All right. Anything you want to let the people know before we go?
I want to let the people know to love yourself and love each other. And it's all good.
Yes, all good. Awesome.
What do you want people know?
I want to let the people know that this video is radiating love, and anybody watching this, like, I hope you feel it in your hearts and just like in your spirit, in your body, in your mind and emotions. And this is just like very, it's an honor to have such an incredible person here to speak with. And like, what else? I don't know. She's an incredible artist. Go check her out.
Wow. Thank
Wow.
you.
You're welcome. All right. Thanks, Sierra.
Yeah, thank you for having me on your podcast. I'm
You're
so
welcome.
grateful
Heck yeah.
and honored.
Yeah. All right. Lots of love and power. See you around.
Love you. Safe.
Wash your hands.